found it quite interesting that their whole thing is not about taking down the Facebook page. Right. It's about, and it's interesting because I was kind of surfing through and I found the FBI's Facebook page. The FBI has a Facebook page, and it is, and we were talking to Steve Houck about this, it's brutal. It has many racial comments on there. I mean, it's really, really bad. But the issue comes into play when you take down any comment on a municipality's website or Facebook page. So therein lies the issue when it comes to free speech. So it's not about actually having the bad comments up. It's if you're going to have the Facebook page, you have to leave all comments up, good or bad. And there are cases across the country. So I want to dig into this a little bit. Cases across the country where municipalities actually had to take down their Facebook page, not because that it was bad or racist or anything like that, but really because it wasn't, and comments were taken down. You want to comment on that? Christine?
Oh,
are you with me?
Sorry.
I can't look at you now. Yeah, I'm looking at you.
I think that there are a couple issues here. I've had, like you, the opportunity to look at many Facebook departments or Facebook pages of departments, law enforcement departments across the country. And kudos to the Utica Police Department, because I do think that their page is one of the most not only widely viewed but widely used Facebook pages in the country. And I think we've talked,
and it's led to people, being caught and arrested and that sort of thing.
Yes, but I think we disagree on one thing. I think you may be of the opinion that no comments should be allowed, and I think that all comments should...
It's not about what I agree with or disagree with. It is court cases that have occurred, and because municipalities don't want people using, for instance, the N-word on the Facebook page. Right. So what has happened is the ACLU has actually fought those cases, and comments cannot be taken down. Remember, that's a taxpayer-funded entity at this point. Whether it's cost them nothing or not, or if one employee gets on this, it's a taxpayer-funded operation now. So you can't take any comments down. As terrible as they are, no comments can be taken down. That's what this attorney was telling me yesterday. And and now the question becomes, do you want a website that has all sorts of racist comments all over it?
Well, and there's several questions. The taking down might be somewhat of a technicality, because you can technically hide a comment without taking it down, and that comment is still visible.
Apparently you can't. Apparently the municipality can't. It's a First Amendment issue. And according to this attorney, you can't hide it. You can't touch it. You can't take it down.
Yeah, I believe, Christy, for instance, if somebody were to comment on our page, something like that.
Different deal. Right. Different deal. We're a private entity. This is taxpayer funded. So what comes next? You can take down a racist comment. You might take down a comment that's negative towards the mayor. Right. You might take down something that's political. So I'm not going to debate it. It's not to be debated here. I want to get some experts on to talk about it. I'm just telling you that according to this attorney, the ACLU has sued municipalities over the fact that they took racist comments down, and they won.
And I buy that. I think the other thing that is interesting to note, which is a beautiful thing about social media, is that while there is that element out there, people who are going to be haters no matter what, and people who are going to use foul language, there's also a fair amount of self-policing on those forum sites. Yeah. And people who participate actively can either block the person themselves personally, not wish to see them. They can report that person, which is something that's done. They report the person to Facebook, and that person's account can be suspended or deleted altogether. And, they just don't tolerate it. Like, if you look at all of the strings or the threads that go down any particular comment, people react to the comments of others, and they do police themselves.
But if you look at the FBI site, it's pretty bad. Mm-hmm. And so I guess the question becomes, can you take these down? This attorney says you can't. No matter how bad the comment might be, or slanderous even, the comments can't be taken down. If that is the case, Do you want to? Is that something that you want? So I think it's interesting. It'll be interesting to get in, but I got to get somebody on that actually knows this and has some previous cases that Manaski.
Well, no, I think it was just something you highlighted on that was going to be my question was, if I got on there and said Bill Keeler did X, Y, and Z, he robbed my house.
Yeah.
Right. Does the entity then become financially responsible for a lawsuit that I might file because it's not true that you didn't rob my house? And I guess that's my next.
I guess it would not be, but I don't know that either. But there's an interesting thing. For instance, if Kim Myers comes in today and decides she's going to slander Claudia Tenney, and she puts together a sorry to bring you into this, but she puts together. You're going to pay for this one. She puts together a commercial that says all these untrue things about Claudia Tenney, and it's slanderous. So we get the commercial in, and we listen to it, and we say, Kim Myers, I'm sorry, we are not going to be able to run this commercial. Do you know that we, as a radio station or a television station as well, have no right to change her message? As slanderous as it might be, that message, we have to run it as it was delivered to us, that political message. And, by the way, we would be exempt from any responsibility of the slanderous message. So we could not be sued over that. Claudia Tenney could not come in and sue us. She might be able to go after Kim Myers, but she couldn't go after us. But we have no right to change that message. That's kind of an interesting. It's all these little rules and regulations based on political rules and First Amendment and all that stuff I find interesting. But Christine will have somebody in that knows what they're talking about on it, and it'll be interesting to see. But there are many Facebook pages police departments use, and the FBI uses them, and they can be a little nasty. And maybe that's why they're nasty, because they can't take them down. And that good old ACLU is out there just making our lives such a better place. Kim Myers, good morning. Sorry to bring you into that. I got to remember which mic I have you on. Sorry to bring you into that, but so you now know you can give us any message you want.
Apparently,
and we're going to run it.
I have to tell you though, I read this bumper sticker one time that said, "If you lie to the FBI, it's a felony. If you lie to the American people, that's called politics." Yeah. So.
We want to start by a lot of politics going on right now in Philadelphia. You want to talk about that as a Democrat?
Yes, we're into the Democratic National Convention. I'm not there, and I have to say I've had limited time to watch it as I'm running for a congressional seat, the 22nd here, and I've been very busy. But a lot of things happening on that front, a lot of drama, a lot of excitement.
A lot of protesting, and the glass ceiling has apparently been shattered.
Well, and that is true. This is historic, regardless of what you think, that to have a woman elected to run for president is definitely monumental.
Well, in this district, I mean, it's kind of, I guess it's big, the fact that there are two women that are running. Both women are of major parties for this congressional seat. That's a big deal, too.
It absolutely is.
So tell us, this is our first time having you in studio. First of all, I know that you guys have an announcement on Dick's Sporting Goods. So go over quickly your relationship to Dick's Sporting Goods and then what the announcement is.
Thank you. It is very exciting. I was born and raised in Broome County, where Dick's Sporting Goods started. As a matter of fact, the founder of Dick's Sporting Goods with $300 that is borrowed from his grandmother's cookie jar is my dad. I was raised in that business my whole life. If you could do your ABCs, you could file the fishing and gun records. If you could count, you could do inventory. So we grew that business, and when in the 80s, when my dad's health was starting to fail, my siblings and I purchased the two stores at that time from my dad, and under my brother Ed's leadership and vision, it's now grown to the nationwide company that it is now, Dick's Sporting Goods, which we could not be prouder. There's a book in there sometime about how this all happened and all the ups and downs and near-death experiences. Very exciting. I couldn't be prouder. We've lived the American dream. We started with nothing, and it's truly amazing. So for a couple years now, we've been working on the need for a new distribution center to service the northeastern stores that we have. And it was between the Broome County site and a site in Pennsylvania. And we went back and forth. And the good news is I know what my brother's cell phone number is, and he takes my calls. Yeah. And I was able to impress upon him, which he has an affinity for our hometown, absolutely, as well. And the announcement was that we were able to bring it to Broome County, which will bring over 450 jobs to the area, investing $100 million into building that building in the Broome Corporate Park. It's pretty exciting.
That'll be Conkling, New York? Is that where that will
New York,
be?
yes.
Okay. So that's a big announcement. By the way, I have an unrelated story. I'm not going to get too deep into it because it's vulgar. But my wife, I remember when my boys were younger and we had to buy some sporting goods for my kids for Christmas time, and my wife was trying to find your website. And
yep, I know where you're going with this.
You must type it in properly. What's the official website address?
It is. Now you can type in.
Oh, you can type in?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
you didn't used to be able to.
No, you did not.
And what came up was not good.
No, and I can't even tell you what that cost us to finally buy.
I can only imagine.
That domain.
It had to be an issue for the business because
it was.
Everybody calls it by the short name, and
well, the name it is.
The name it is.
My dad's name was Richard, and his name was Dick.
Dick, yeah, and you would just assume you go to the website. So that's been changed, and it costs you guys a lot of money.
Yeah.
So interesting. Yeah. All right, we're going to go ahead.
Well, I just wanted to follow up, and that's a great announcement. But
I'm going to let my wife know she can now go to that website.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I just want to mention we talked about what other candidates might say, et cetera. And last week, Claudia Tenney had sent out a release, and I don't know if this was addressed previously, but I do have the quote here in her release. It says, in 1994, Kim Myers' family business moved its headquarters and jobs to Pennsylvania, collecting millions in tax incentives. In 2009, they shut down a distribution center in Broome County, taking away more New York jobs. Over that same period, New York lost hundreds of thousands of jobs. Myers and her business did nothing to help. Why suddenly is Dick's Sporting Goods building a new distribution center in Broome County? What's changed? Well, Kim Myers is running for Congress. That is a quote from a news release from the Tenney campaign.
Want to respond to that?
Please.
Absolutely, and thank you for the opportunity. Although I understand, apparently, I'm new to this, apparently that's the way politics works, but you're not entitled to, you can have your own opinion, but you can't have your own facts. And as in the press release and in the announcement, it was cited, and it can be fact-checked, there were no tax breaks for Dick's moving the headquarters to Pennsylvania. At the time, we were getting ready to explode the business, the infrastructure in the Conklin and Binghamton area did not support the vision that we had. We needed to be near a regional airport, and at that time, Pittsburgh had U.S. Air as its hub. In order for Dick's to be now a national chain employing over 37,000 people, had we not taken those 47 people and moved near the Pittsburgh airport, Dick's would not be the employer and the entity that it is now. So without that slight move of 49 jobs, we would not have been able to grow the amount of jobs that we have in New York State and throughout the country. And once again, there were zero tax breaks.
And what was the incentive to bring it back? Here, had anything changed in terms of transportation and that sort of thing?
Well, the transportation for distribution center is different than a corporate office, you know. And in Conklin, it's near Route 81. It's right access off of there, so that works.
So that portion of transportation, highway transportation, becomes very important for that.
It does, and this distribution center is going to service over 200 stores in the Northeast and help service that growth that we plan to do. So to bring more jobs, and it was interesting that somebody was going to attack a business that was going to bring jobs when we all know that that's number one issue in our district is to bring jobs to the area, as well as I can attest to, because of that, the need for infrastructure, the need to build up our infrastructure and improve on our infrastructure, which I hope to do when I get to Washington.
All right. Lots to talk about, and we're going to have Kim Myers in studio for a bit of an extended time, give you a chance to get to know her and who she is. And our phone number is 736-0186. Coming right back. Hold tight. This is the First News Keeler in the Morning on WIBX.